order. Roll call. Here. Here. Any conflicts to report? Approval of minutes of the meeting of September 4th and September 11th, 2014.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Second. Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. We're going to leave the agenda for the first item.
Yeah, we have Mr. Rob Carlson here from Carlson Construction. You want to step up to the podium in case there's any questions? He needs to make a tap for the new Walmart for the fire protection and the water. And he's going to be doing that work on November 3rd and 7th. It's going to require closing Westcott Avenue. You're going to leave River Drive open for the contractor working on the bridge, right?
Yes.
So it'll only be closed for that area north of there, then you'll have some advanced signage up at the next street telling people that it's closed.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the closure for the 3rd through the 7th.
Second. Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Item A, construction inspection agreement with United Consulting for 171st Street sidewalk improvement.
Yeah, we signed the contract for the physical work with Reeve Riley last week, and this is the supervision contract. I'd like to make a motion that we approve it.
Second. Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item B, correspondence received from Midwest Underground Technology Incorporated requesting permission to close the alley behind 7107 Kennedy Avenue and for a road closure for site cleanup beginning November 3rd, 2014.
Yeah, this is, they're gonna be setting a cell phone tower up there on the roof of a building, so they're gonna be working from the alley side. And I spoke to them, they're gonna only block a real small area, and the work will be done, I think, within 1 day. So I'd like to make a motion to approve that closure.
Second. The motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Item C, disposal authorizations received from the Hammond Police Department.
We have several vehicles. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the.
Second. Motion second. All those in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Item C. Item D. Hearing on property located at 701 and 705 Kane Street.
Good morning. I'm Gary Matthews. I represent Mrs. Panita, who's here. She's the owner. Been talking with Mr. Escamillo, the inspector. We're going to meet and see if we can get some agreement on the use of this as a 2-unit each property. And we've agreed, if the board is agreeable, to continue it to December 18th for a status hearing.
You got a problem with it? No? So I'd like to make a motion that we reschedule it for December 18th.
Second. Motion second. All those in favor? Aye. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Item E, hearing on property located at 915 Michigan Street.
I had submitted a proposed agreement. I just talked with Kelly. He's not in agreement with it, so I would like that December 18th, and I'll meet with Kelly or the inspector and figure this. The proposed agreement involved the separation between the 2 units. This building was built in 1913, has been a 2-unit since at least 1919, and the notice of violation also indicated some problems with the basement apartment. There were no basement apartments, and I think Kelly's in agreement that that's not an issue.
We're going to have a hearing, because I'll be prepared to rebut anything that he brings up.
Mr. President, Mr. Vosky is correct. We had some discussions. I asked him to write up a proposed agreement. It didn't get sent to me till last night. I didn't look at it till this morning. And it's not acceptable to the building department, so consequently, we will need a hearing. But Mr. Vosky has not done anything wrong here. I just propose a solution to this problem.
So I'll meet with them on December 18th. The status would be fine with me.
So you want a status hearing on the 18th? You're gonna
Well, we want to reach agreement before then.
make a motion that we move this till December 18th.
Second.
Thank you.
Motion second. All those in favor?
The inspector.
Ayes have it. Item F. Correspondence received from Attorney Ellen Faulkner requesting a hearing on property located at 243 Oakwood Street be continued.
Mr. Fox, say when he would like, how far out? After Thanksgiving? I'd like to make a motion that we move this to December the 4th.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor? Ayes have it.
We need to move down to the rental registration so we can get Eddie back downstairs where he belongs.
Okay.
Sorry.
Moving on to,
Thank you.
6611, California?
I think that's the problem.
Yes. Okay, let's try another one. We have a choice of three. Is it 6328 New Jersey?
Right. I guess the mix-up was the mailing address, that they didn't get the notice, is what he's saying. So he said it was just pay for the registration, he just wasn't aware.
Which one is it, Chris?
Yeah, Mr. President, it's 6328 New Jersey, and my information.
item N.
Sorry, I apologize. My information says that the water was in the tenant's name since January 2007 through the present, and they've had the same tenant, so apparently the water bill is going to the tenant. So we have this situation, I suppose, where you have somebody who never registered from 2007 to the present.
What he's saying is that he wasn't aware of the rental registration, the process, so, but whatever he needs to do to pay it, get caught up, he'll
Is
do
it a
it.
single unit?
Is it one house?
There's no, es un casa? Yes, just the one house. One unit, yes.
So if you want.
1 year or how many?
It's up to you, Mr. President. A lot of times what the board will do is they'll either say, one late fee, or they'll say register for the past years, which about equals one late fee because it's $80 since 2010 to the present, so $80 from 2010 to the present would be $320.
And this is the first time.
It's just basically, we never caught this one.
Yep. Works for me.
I'm gonna make a motion that he pay all the due rental registration fees and that we waive the penalty.
Okay, está bien.
Don't come back next year.
No viene para atrás. Ya sabes.
Ed, by April 15th of every year, it has to be registered.
Okay, I'll let him know that.
So, the one, single unit,
Yes.
But it's for what, for 4 years?
4 years.
Well, it goes back to 2007, but it became $80 in 2010. It was $10 before that, so, that would be easy math. That'd be an extra $30, so it'd be $350.
So es 350.
350 total?
Yes.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Ayes have it.
Ahí abajo. Ya, ya.
You can go downstairs and register after this meeting.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
No problem. Okay.
Item H, notice of violation hearing on property located at 2342 Birch Avenue. Tippit?
Yeah, we didn't do G. We missed G.
Oh, I'm sorry, didn't do G. Thank you. Resolution agreement to purchase real estate and warranty deed with regard to the sale of Lot 3 to Root Brothers Manufacturing and Supply Company submitted for approval.
Mr. President, this is over there, oops, I'm pointing the wrong direction, over there on Conkey Street, and,
Two-story warehouse.
sorry, and I really do need you to sign it today because the closing is next week, and so they need to sign copies for the next closing next week.
so what do we,
So we need to make a motion to approve the document and sign it.
Correct, but I actually do need the signature.
second?
Just president's signature.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Now we can get on to item H, notice of violation hearing on property located at 2342 Birch Avenue.
This is the removal of an illegal basement apartment.
And
On the very last page, you could see that they did have a representative sign for the,
okay, somebody from Fifth Third did.
correct,
So
correct.
the-
So we're notified to be here. As far as I was concerned, I was contacted by a real estate agent for the property who stated they do understand that it is illegal. The basis in which we're operating for the removal is the minimum height in the property. It's 6'4", so it does not meet the minimum ceiling requirement. There's no fire separation throughout the basement apartment. All the windows in the apartment are constructed of the glass block formation. There's no emergency escape or rescue opening, so it does not meet the egress. The property does have a single electric breaker box meter and single gas meter, so the utilities do reflect a single-family home. No permits have ever been pulled for the creation of this apartment, so we are asking that the board affirm its removal and take the property back to a single-family home.
And the bank is agreeing to this?
Correct, yeah, they understand. We actually got a call from an appraiser who was going to form an appraisal on the property, notifying our department that they believe there's a situation there. We contacted the real estate agent, and they understand that the property cannot be sold as a 2-unit.
Make a motion.
Mortgage company owns it, right?
Correct, Fifth Third. Basically, the affirmation would allow the, the title work to be corrected as a single-family home, so that way any purchaser that does get the property is gonna understand that this is a single-family home and it has to be used as such.
I'd like to make a motion that we affirm the findings.
Motion? Second, all in favor?
Thank you.
Ayes have it. Item I, notice of violation hearing on property located at 5643 Claude Avenue.
Mr. Hollis or Mrs. Hollis?
Asking for a removal of the second floor apartment. This was built as an 8-room frame, no fire separation from the first to the second floor, and no permits to convert to a second floor apartment.
Have you been in contact with the people?
No, I haven't heard anything, but I mean, he's signed for,
He signed for it?
yeah, so he
They
received.
know they're supposed to be here.
Right.
I'd like to make the motion that we affirm the findings.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Item J, notice of violation hearing on property located at 7532 Maplewood Avenue.
We're asking for the removal of the basement apartment. This was built as a 4-room frame house. What tipped us off was a police call about a landlord locking the tenant out in the basement. It does not meet code. There's no fire separation. Ceiling height varies from 6'1" to 6.5 feet. Definitely no permits to convert. Glass block windows. No one's living there now. It was marked uninhabitable, but the rooms do need to come out.
The guy that owns the place, his address is the same, so he's not living there?
I believe they do live there in the main floor, in the house. The basement was being rented out evidently in September. And they were noticed.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we affirm the findings.
Motion?
Anyone ever go in that place and look at it yet? Was it checked out?
Yeah, we've been in there, sure.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item K, notice of violation hearing on property located at 621 Cherry Street.
621 Cherry has a second-floor apartment. However, the new owner is living there now. We've agreed to a deed restriction that he won't rent it out. And if he ever goes to sell it, he would have to sell it as a single-family home. He did sign the deed restriction this morning, and that was given to you.
Make a motion that we affirm the findings.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item L, correspondence received from Mrs. Shelley Harris requesting the hearing on property located at 4609 Sheffield Avenue, garage only, set for October 30th, 2014, be continued for 2 weeks.
I'd like to make a motion that we continue till November the 6th.
The motion?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Ayes have it. Item M, rental registration hearing on property located at 6611 California Avenue. Morning.
I sent in a request for a exemption, special exemption for rental registration. I rented it, I got the records for 2012, 2013. I did have a rental permit. In 2013, Hasse Construction was doing the road repairs, and I had 3 feet of sewage. So I had to let those tenants out in 2013, and Hasse was going back and forth with the city, with the lawyers, on who was going to do cleanup. So they finally cleaned it up, but I was unable to rent it anymore, so I had a family move in there. They do have I did give them a residential lease for $8,400, which my payments, I've got my mortgage payments here are $8,500 per year. It's a family member living there. I wouldn't rent it for less than what I'm paying the mortgage. So it's not I'm actually losing a lot of money off it because I've done all the repairs. It is now for sale. They're just staying in it until I could list it. It was listed about 3 weeks ago. I just finished all the painting and repairs in the basement, and Hasse Construction took them about 6 months to do the cleanup and repairs in the basement of my house. I'm only asking for it for the year 2014. If it doesn't sell, and if I re-rent it next year, then I'll renew my permit.
Mr. President, I have that he's owned it since 2007, and he still gets a homestead on it. Which is why he didn't get the notice of registration. It's still showing up as his primary residence.
Yes, I got the house in a divorce. My wife was there, we went through a divorce, and I got the house in a divorce.
So when did you take full ownership? 2007?
I bought it in 1990, well, my father-in-law bought it in 1998. It was my grandmother's house. It's been our family for 60 years. And my father-in-law bought it for me, and then I financed it from him in 2007, and then in 2010.
Okay, so from 2007 to 2010, you were living in it?
Yes, yes.
And then in 2010, what happened?
I was going through a divorce, and then in a divorce, I got the house.
Were you still living in it in 2010 by yourself?
Yes,
When did you move out? When did you move to Highland?
2011.
You started renting out, did you rent it out in 2011?
Yes, that's the year I started renting it.
2012?
Yes,
And 2013?
yes.
So you've been renting it out for 4 years?
2 years. I've had 2 tenants in there, and neither one of them did the full term. Both of them have been left out before the year term.
No, I agree, but for 4 years, you've been renting it out.
3. The last year, this is a family member that's been there the last year. But I've had 2 tenants. The first tenant was there about 6 months and they broke the lease. And the second one was there for about another 8 months.
Okay,
So,
I understand that part. So for 2014, you have a family member living in there, and they are
2000
paying you rent, or they're not paying you rent?
they're not. They have not paid me a penny. I'll swear that under oath. I'll take a lie detector.
I'd like to make a motion that we assess the late fee for 3 years, plus 1 penalty of $500.
I've had the permit for 2 years. Up until this year, I had a permit. I've got my records right here.
Chris?
I see him, please?
Yes. And the stickers are on the door of the Go through here. There's 2012.
The only year is 2013?
Just this year.
Oh, not 14.
Just 2014. That's it. I paid 2012, 2013, and then the flood is the only reason why I didn't get it this
All right,
year.
Mr. President, I would just ask that he fills out the affidavit for 2014, indicating he did not rent it, and as soon as he does get a tenant, though, he does need to register for either 14 if it's this year or 15.
I'd like to rescind my motion, and the penalty, the $80 fee must be paid. That's it.
And the penalty waived?
Yes.
I'll second that motion.
Did you just say he's gonna file the,
Was it rented for you for 1 day in 2014?
No.
Okay. And you didn't rent it for you for 1 day in 2014?
Okay, I'll rescind my motion.
They paid $140 to $84.
Yes.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
they're paying the utilities, it's still
It's a family member who filled out the application.
okay, so that's 14.
Right.
And 13 was good?
13 was fine, he registered, if you rents to a non-family member, and 15, he's got a
Rescind my motion.
Motion,
Dismiss action.
Thank you.
motion, second.
Second.
All in favor? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Repeat, can you repeat the motion? Item O, rental registration hearing on property located at 1105 177th Place.
I have, in 2010, I sold the house on a land contract. That's why I no longer got a rental on it. And I didn't know, he can attest to that, Mr. Callahan. We found out during a bunch of trouble this summer when I'm trying to get the person out that bought it because they haven't paid me nothing in over a year, that they cited my property for violations, and in the process found out that the lawyer that wrote this contract up notified the lady that I have this contract with and said, you need to register the home. Nobody ever told me this. I'm sorry for my stupidity and I didn't find this out, but nobody ever told me this. And law firm, I think Ruman was handling rental registrations for the city. And when I talked to them and told them, they still didn't tell me. They just said, okay, it's fine. We'll take care of it. And then I found out through them this summer that I was supposed to register it, and she now did register it, although I'm going through court to get her out for breach of contract. But she's owned the house, according to the contract, since October of 2010.
Just for a little clarification, it was a rental and contract that wasn't recorded. She recorded it the day that, before we were called out by the police department, because she wanted him removed because he was doing repairs that he was cited for. So he was a landlord, although we've talked about the contract not being recorded, makes him a responsible party. She called the police on him because he was doing repairs to the garage. So it wasn't a rental, it was a contract that wasn't recorded. He's still the responsible person for the property. Whatever the board wishes. Once the attorneys got involved, they had the tenant record the contract, which then made her responsible. So we dismissed, I believe we dismissed the violations against this gentleman and are going to make the tenant or owner make the repairs.
Is it a rent-own contract?
And it's not a rent-own contract, it's a land contract.
Thank you. First?
I mean, now that the contract's been recorded, I don't think it's an issue. When did this contract start?
October 2010.
Okay, and was it a rental before October?
Yes, and I did have a rental.
When's the last year you had a rental sticker?
2010. There was a rental in there that summer.
I mean, I think we're fine, it's taken care of. The city got what we wanted, we got it recorded.
Okay. So? Dismiss?
Yes.
Motion that we dismiss action.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion, second? Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Abby. Thanks for the clarification on that. Correspondence received requesting rental registration hearings.
Make a motion that we schedule these for November 20th.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item Q, agreement to rehabilitate property located at 6228 Garfield Avenue and 10 Doty Street.
Mr. President, those are properties on the demolition list, and these are agreements to rehabilitate, and I would ask the board approval.
Make a motion that we approve that.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item R, findings, 1205 Chicago Street.
Mr. President, that's the business license hearing we had last week for Star Foods or FA Foods, and I would just ask that you sign it. Once signed, we need to get a copy to the attorney representing Mr. Abuzer.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the findings.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item F, correspondence received from Mr. Gary Gleason, Director of Public Works, regarding placement of residential parking only on the 7100 block of Meadow Lane.
Mr. Gleason agrees with putting the residential parking signs up, so I would like to approve his agreement.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor? Ayes have it. Item C, agreement regarding pool improvements received from 3rd District Councilman Anthony Heeg.
He wants some pool improvements, the mayor signed off on it, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve that.
Second.
Motion, second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item U, correspondence received from Ms. Nicole Zavala requesting permission to hold a candlelight vigil on November 24th, 2014, from 5 o'clock to 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. with traffic control for her sister, who was killed by a drunk driver on Sheffield Avenue.
She's not asking for the street to be closed, they're gonna be off the street.
Yeah, but she was asking for traffic control, so what does that mean?
EMA, we sent EMA out there to.
Can we just send it to Chief Doty?
I think we can approve it subject to, them staying on the parkway.
So it says, we will be standing on the grass, so we shouldn't interfere with traffic, but I am asking for safety reasons. Doty?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we send this to Chief Doty,
Motion?
Second.
and that we also approve it, so we're just hoping for his help.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Garage sale permits,
I already looked at them, I approve them all, I'd like to make a motion. to-
motion, second, second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Any matters from board members?
I got one, I'd like to make everybody aware that November 27th, December 25th, and January 1st of 2015, we will not have a meeting because they are holidays.
But please don't come those days.
Nobody show up on those days.
Is that a motion?
That's my motion.
Second.
Second, all those in favor? Ayes have it. Item 7, matters from other department heads or the representatives. Item 8, new business. Item 9, old business. Item 10, meeting is now open to the public. Morning.
Good morning, sir.
And then?
I don't know, you got any questions, because I got some explanation to do?
Regarding 2016 Calumet, the rental registration, he says it's not a rental, and we tend to disagree, so. I don't know what he has to say at this point.
Well, last week, we imposed a fine and a penalty, because originally, didn't his tenants call for you guys to come out and inspect something?
That was, right, that was in May with Nick, correct.
Okay, Nick, right?
Yeah, I went out to the property, I stopped, knocked on the door for overgrowth and some other issues. The young lady came to the door, explained the issues to the tenant at the property. She was tired of a bunch of the issues that were going on in the property that she asked to be fixed. Subsequently stated her landlord, hasn't fixed any of the issues. She wanted us to do an inspection. She was tired of, these things going on. She had children in the property, smelled sewage and stuff, and she didn't feel like she should lie to the landlord. She explained to me personally that the landlord told her, if the city comes, I'll get there and tell them that I stay here with you, that I live here, and I'll lay on the couch. And she said she didn't want to lie, she didn't want to get caught up in, trouble, so she was cooperating with our department to get these issues addressed. After which Matt had scheduled an appointment with them to go out and check out the issues at the property.
On July 1st, we went by, and obviously, see the sign there, his phone number.
Which is not there right now.
He's not there now. July 30th, me and Kelly went in, and obviously by those pictures, there were two gentlemen, probably in their 20s, living there. It's not Mr. Chacon.
Yeah.
Mr. Chacon was with his father on Brown
I
Avenue.
drive by there every day, I know these people living there.
Yep.
Is that a shed or a garage in the back?
In the back, that is,
The garage is,
like a garage, I suppose.
the garage is connected to the house kind of, right?
Wow.
It's separated, but it's right behind the house. Right. I drove through the alley the other day.
No one's living in the rear of that separate dwelling.
So, Mr. Cohen, your complaint is that you didn't have anybody living there, but these
No.
guys talked to somebody that was living there?
No, no,
There
no.
was clothes laying around with a bunch of pictures.
No, no,
Yeah,
sir.
there is, I'm looking right at them.
Can I explain myself?
Yeah, but I'm looking at the pictures with people with clothes in there.
Close. I used to live there with my girlfriend and family. When she started bringing all sort of family, every week was a new member, I decided to break relationship and I told her to leave the place. And that's why this created all this mess. You know, I got records that I've been paying the gas and light for the longest in that property. You know, and I still got record right now from the last 3-4 months. There's only $30 or $40 a month.
They were there in July, so that's been 3 months.
That's when I kicked them out. You know, so I'm in the middle of.
You were living here at this time?
At that time, I was living there.
You were letting people lay on a mattress on the floor, or an air mattress?
Oh, no. You're talking about in the last 2 months?
Well, listen, this is July 30th. There's an air mattress on the floor.
Yeah, those
No
are the
pictures in any of the rooms.
those are the workers that are still working for my father. And sometimes they used to come because my father used to have a lot of issues about.
Our address, and I believe the service was delivered to 1831 Brown,
Whatever, yeah.
1800 block of Brown. That's where he lives, says that he lived. In 2 different separate occasions, we went there and 2 different tenants were there. What the relationship is to them, we do not know.
The place is empty. The same way that you.
That's not what he's saying. He's saying you live on Brown, that house they went to. The 2016 is empty right now.
I had
There
to.
was people living there in July.
When I started having problems with her at the beginning of the year.
We're not worried about your relationships,
I know, I
We're worried
understand
about
that,
somebody
but
living there.
I'm trying to explain why I moved to Brown because I didn't want to be with that family anymore and I was kicking them out.
Mr. President, we do not prorate rental. If a person was in the rental for 1 day out of 365, it is a rental. And so therefore, I would just ask that the costs imposed at the last hearing stay.
I would agree. Chris, want to make a motion on this stand?
We just don't have to do anything. We did it, we're just not undoing it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, I'm the owner of the 5516 Calumet Bar that was on the demo list that we're trying to negotiate.
It's still on the demolition list.
Yeah.
It's the one that Councilman Hicks drove into.
Yeah.
Oh, the old Calumet Bar?
Yeah.
Right. It's on the demolition, order of demolition has been affirmed. The only way that anything's gonna stop is if an agreement to rehabilitate is entered. That's the procedure we've been doing since 2008. That's the procedure now. So if you want it not to be demolished, you need to have an agreement to rehabilitate.
Oh, and I'm working on it now. So we actually had the insurance company come back out for some new issues that were post the accident, like the roof damage that was on initially. So our insurance company finally is coming out. He was on vacation from all of October till now. So he's coming out today.
What do you plan on doing with it?
Initially, it was going to be initially it was just going to be office space prior to the accident, and then after the accident, it's going to be regular office space. I know from an eyesore standpoint, it's definitely an eyesore with the boards up there.
You cut the weeds down in the sidewalk?
Yeah, done that already. It's been doing that. So that's basically done as of a couple weeks ago, at the very least. So I got pictures if necessary right now, but.
Chris, who's he have to speak with?
Mr. Kirk Cook, yeah. So that's why I'm in the process. I missed the last one. Actually, I missed the one of the initial hearing. I was out of town on business that week, and then just happened to catch the meetings, and then I heard it, my company name, address, so obviously making that process.
Right. It's gonna be just like item Q,
Yeah.
agreement to rehabilitate, throw those properties, we do it the same way every time.
So, I mean, just let you know who I am, and obviously I'm moving forward with trying to rehabilitate it, whether, not going to be in a bar again, but just at the very point, I was just slow down the process of demolition, so give me time to fix the front end. I mean, we had grant money initially before the accident to fix it through the facade program, and obviously some other stuff came up for upgrades with our insurance companies going to pay for. But now it's a matter of us paying and then get reimbursed after the fact. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Okay, so that's all. Thank you.
So noted. Anyone else from the public wish to address the board?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second. Motion and a second.